America is backing you with overwhelming strength and devastating force. Now is the time to seize control of your destiny and to unleash the prosperous and glorious future that is close within your reach. This is the moment for action. Do not let it pass. May God bless the brave men and women of America's armed forces. May God bless the United States of America. May God bless you all. Thank you.
That was President Trump a short time ago announcing major combat operations in conjunction with Israel have begun in Iran, striking multiple targets in the capital in Tehran, but also in other cities in multiple locations, with Iran retaliating, striking in Israel, launching missiles. No casualties have been heard in Israel, but obviously, as we saw from Trey Yingst, the bomb shelters are filling up as missiles are launched there. Also, Iran responding at multiple Middle Eastern countries, in Bahrain, in Saudi Arabia, in the UAE, in Qatar. Let's go now to Justin Fulcher, who is a former senior advisor to Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and former Pentagon official. Justin, good morning. What do you make of what we're waking up to this morning?
Well, good morning. I think what we've seen is that last night's actions were not impulsive. This was a deliberate, coordinated military operation designed to degrade Iran's capacity, which is a very clear threat to the United States and our forces across the region. The U.S. and Iran have been negotiating for months, really since Operation Midnight Hammer, yet Iran has continued to advance its missile capabilities. They've shown a desire to continue enriching uranium at dangerous levels, and they've empowered their proxies all across the region, which pose a threat to American personnel. At this point in time, there comes a point where diplomacy isn't just words, and it's demonstrated capability. And what we've seen is that President Trump had made it very clear that if Iran continued down this path, there would be consequences. And what we're seeing now is the U.S. military executing with precision and upright professionalism. This is about restoring deterrence, protecting American service members, and ultimately preventing a nuclear-armed Iran from destabilizing the region even more. And strength, when applied decisively, is often what prevents a larger war. And right now, the Pentagon's job is to ensure that when that diplomacy fails, that America retains overwhelming capability. And right now, we've seen that completely on full display.
We have, and Justin, we expect President Trump to address the nation later today. What might we learn in those comments?
Well, I think what we've seen across the region is both the U.S. and Israel, as well as Iran's retaliation, is that this is definitely an unfolding situation. And what I believe President Trump will share when he addresses the nation is a lot more details around specific targets, how effective they were, and ultimately, the path moving forward. He's made it extremely clear that he is going to do whatever it takes to back up and prevent Iran from developing advanced nuclear capabilities. And what we've seen from some of the reporting on the ground and around the region is that it appears to be that the U.S. has been striking key military advantages and assets that Iran has. And Israel's, of course, taking their approach, targeting some of the key leadership, it seems. But ultimately, I believe President Trump will outline a lot more of how effective this campaign has been over the past few hours.
And Justin, it's interesting. We will see if in the president's address, if we get, as you alluded to, the battle damage assessment. How successful was this initial operation? An operation that the president and the officials of Pentagon, where you used to work, are saying this is going to be days, not hours. But in these initial hours, we were talking with retired Navy SEAL Mike Sorelli. He and I were talking about what was likely some of the initial operations geared towards SEAD and DIAD, which you well know is a suppression and destruction of enemy air defenses, using our technology, the F-22 Raptors, the F-35 Lightning Strike, to go in and take out those capabilities. But as we are also seeing, Iran is retaliating, striking or sending missiles not only at Israel, but across the Middle East. What might you surmise we will learn in this battle damage assessment?
Well, what we've seen is that the U.S. definitely appears to be targeting some of those air defense capabilities, the surface-to-air missile stockpiles and drone and missile stockpiles that Iran has. there are options for Iran to retaliate. And we've seen that with, attempted drone strikes and missile strikes being launched towards Israel, but also towards American bases and assets in the region. And so what I expect that President Trump will likely outline is the effectiveness of the U.S. military, which is by far the greatest military on earth, being completely able to neutralize a lot of these key Iranian military assets. And so I expect President Trump will outline that, but also discuss, a way forward in terms of, what the future of some of the military and kinetic actions in the region look like.
Justin, we have no reports of casualties, injuries in Israel yet. We have no reports of any casualties or injuries to U.S. Soldiers or airmen, anyone involved in this. So far, we don't know. But I want to get to this because I think it's an important point to make, and that is when you had the flawless executions of Midnight Hammer, the flawless execution in Venezuela, capturing Nicolas Maduro, in this case, the Pentagon messaged very strongly, and the president saying that we could see American casualties here. What do you make of the importance of sending that message?
Well, I think President Trump is setting real expectations that this isn't just like the Maduro raid. This is something far, far more widespread. This is certainly has already shown that it's a regional conflict with potential strikes on assets, American assets across the region. And so ultimately, I think President Trump is being very clear about expectation setting with the American people, but also, this is not just capturing, one person like in Venezuela. This is ultimately undermining serious military capabilities that Iran has and ensuring that their nuclear weapons program stops for good. So, thank God there have been no American casualties up to this point, at least not reported. And I hope we can minimize that absolutely as much as necessary and much as possible. But ultimately, the American military is prepared for all contingencies. And what we've seen is that they're able to execute extremely swiftly and effectively with very minimal casualties.
Justin Fulcher, former Pentagon official. Justin, thank you for your time and getting up early this morning.
Thank you.
Joining us now, Jamil